Oftentimes in hockey, we as fans forget that as much as we love and cherish the game, along with our chosen team, it's still a business. So while we do find ourselves easily attached to players, team GMs and owners, not so much. And with the cap not increasing as previously expected, management on each team will be more likely than ever to attempt a short-term fix amongst the financial uncertainty. In this video, I'm going to go over several players that would make financial sense to be bought out. And with that, here are 7 players whose contracts should be bought out. After minting the crease in the Big Apple for over a decade, the Kings' days as a Ranger are numbered. As many were looking on amid the Blue Shirts' early playoff exit this summer, the feeling that this would be Lundqvist's last time in a Rangers uniform was a hard one to shake. At 38 years of age and on the last year of his contract this coming season, it's very possible that the Rangers are going to attempt to move the goaltender somehow in some way, as a team who has a relatively deep prospect pool has been deemed successful in bringing up 2 more than capable younger tendies in Igor Shesterkin and Alex Georgiev. Therefore, as much as Lundqvist means to the organization and to fans for his long-term service, the financial incentive to keep him in NYC just isn't there. But with that being said, the potential for a contract buyout is, as Hank's contract for his last signed season would account for $8.5 million of a cap hit if kept on the books. And since Lundqvist would have to waive his no-trade clause to be moved, a buyout would be the best financial decision for New York to make, as it would give them an extra $3 million to work with for next season. Regardless, if the decision is made to do so, it won't be easy for the team and its fans to see the King depart New York City. After taking part in the back-to-back cup runs with Pittsburgh, Mata, after a final mediocre season in the Steel City, was shipped out west for a fresh start. And upon his debut season with the Hawks, the defenseman was only able to notch a measly 17 points in 65 games played, but still did come in clutch for Chicago, while in the bubble with 3 goals and 3 assists. Even after rising to the occasion for a short time, the question still remains, is a second pairing D-man really worth $4 million? Well, if you ask Jim Rutherford, maybe so, but with the Blackhawks already dealing with tight cap issues, any sort of relief will definitely go a long way. And if Mata was bought out, hypothetically, it would only theoretically cost the team $600,000 for the next 4 years. Therefore, in Stan Bowman's mind, this move might just be the right one for all affected parties. While you may disagree with some of these listed, this one, out of all of them, probably makes the most sense, as the Yzerman will be looking to give Detroit's roster a makeover this offseason. One pretty big elephant in the room that has yet to be addressed is Justin Abdelkader's contract. After spending over a decade with the team, the Michigan native has noticeably regressed with age. Currently halfway into his 7-year, $29 million contract, Abdelkader, as of late, hasn't been earning his keep. Last season, for instance, the forward, after 49 games played, wasn't able to net a single goal for the Wings, and walked away with only 3 points. Therefore, with around 7 RFAs to potentially sign on the books, and Torrey Krug possibly in the mix, buying out number 8's contract could be the solution, as Abdelkader's contract would demand $4.25 million for the next 3 seasons. Buying him out would save some space long term, unless they end up waiving the contract entirely. A full buyout is the only other thing that makes logical sense in this case. Things in San Jose last season were tough, let's just say it. Pavelski going to the Stars, Marleau later to the Penguins, Couture taking on captaincy. The culture in the Bay Area for fans was vastly different than what they had come to know. Aside from the change, the Sharks missed the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. And while it's a team sport nonetheless, when your goaltending is mediocre at best, it's going to be that much harder for your team to succeed. Most of us watching would probably see a .900 save percentage as barely average, the bare minimum, or like a C in school. And for Martin Jones, the past 2 seasons, he's unfortunately been below average with a .896. Granted, as I said last season, success wasn't really in the cards for San Jose, but having a weakness in net definitely magnified the team's struggles. With several goaltenders sure to hit the market and his recent decline, finding a suitor for Jones is going to be a tall task in itself. Therefore, a buyout in this scenario just might work, as a team who has several of its veterans locked up that's against the cap can't really afford close to $6 million in net alone. If he's bought out, the Sharks would save around $3 million next season. $3 million, that would go a long way. So, Buffalo, huh? Surprised? Anyone? Anyways, Okposo, after arriving in Buffalo from Long Island, looked initially worthy of an investment, aka 7-year contract. But unfortunately, after a couple good 40-point seasons to start, the forward has regressed offensively. With 3 seasons left and roughly $14 million still to be made, does it logically make sense to keep number 21 on the books? As Okposo, while playing largely on the 4th line last season, was only able to put up 19 points in 52 games played. And with the egregious Skinner contract still to swallow and several free agents still to sign, for fresh GM Kevin Adams, getting cap relief where he can is going to be the ultimate goal. One place to definitely begin is hopefully going to be addressing Okposo's contract. I know, Louis Eriksson isn't here, but keep in mind that this contract is likely the league's current worst because it's indestructible, and it isn't going away anytime soon. Therefore, if Jim Benning wants to get creative this offseason and free up additional space, one good buyout candidate is Brandon Sutter. Brought in from Pittsburgh, Sutter was thought at the beginning to become a cornerstone foundational type of player for Vancouver, but unfortunately, Sutter hasn't been able to contend with younger talent at center, such as Pettersson or Horvat, and has found himself being shuffled around on wing. With only 1 year left to go in his contract at $4.5 million, if the Canucks can't find a team for number 20, buying him out would theoretically save them around $2 million. Since Ryan Miller departed from the team and went out west, the Sabres haven't really had a stable force in net for quite some time. After having the season of his career in St. Louis, Carter Hutton, not Carter Hart,
got hot. Going once, going twice, sold, got hot.
Was rewarded by Buffalo, who signed him to a 3-year, $8.25 million contract. And really, you can't knock on the guy too hard, cause he probably hasn't had it too easy as a Sabre. But still, numerically anyways, Hutton has struggled to remain competitive. While splitting playing time with Linus Ullmark, he finished with the worst numbers of his career last season, with a .898 save percentage and a 3.18 goals against average. And since the team has already begun its roster retool, searching for better help between the pipes seems like the best option. Therefore, with only 1 year remaining on his contract, the team would essentially save close to $1.5 million if they decided to pursue a buyout, as Hutton is set to be owed $2.75 million for his services if kept on the books.